Yeah.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about Jen's healing.
From I was a very young child, I suffered from migraines. It was just a progression of things that got worse and worse. Normally I have to like brace myself or actually get some help. I didn't have to get any help. It was so...
Hey everybody, I'm Brett
I'm Jen.
from Journey to Freedom, coming at you from the she shed today.
The she shed.
We're having serious times now.
With Doug.
I'm not even going to go there.
He's over here in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about Jen's healing.
Yes. What kind of healing, honey?
Miracle healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a true story.
So, you want me to tell the story? You want me to open the story?
Sure.
Okay, it's all on me.
Well, actually, I should probably open the story. I just rethought that. It is about me. So from I was a very young child, I suffered from migraines and other stuff. Chronically, it was really hard. And my grandfather also suffered from them as well. And as I got older, I ended up having numerous health problems, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. I had issues with my veins. They would swell up. My legs would swell up like elephantitis, and I could barely bend them. So bad. And even with my bowels, they were starting to fail, like just randomly. And that was very young. I was very young when, I don't feel like I'm super old now, but it was when I was younger. And so it was a lot of, it got worse after we got married. It was just a progression of things that got worse and worse. And with our trailer, which was very helpful, we bought a camping trailer and we would just go camping. We helped manage a stage at this festival that we actually got married at. And they would jam all night long, and it was really fun, but it came to a point where I couldn't stay up. But I could lay in the trailer, so I would just go lay down, and they would jam all night at the Bluegrass Festival. It was really fun to be able to listen. But
we started out tent camping for the first year or two or so, and that it was fine for a little while, but the festival got moved to a location that was mostly dirt.
Red dirt.
It kind of sucked. And as we were leaving after 5 days of festival, everything was dirty. Everything, the tarps, the pop-up shades, the tents, everything was covered in dirt. And by the time I got everything packed into the car, it was about 100 degrees outside, and I was covered in dirt, head to toe. And I had to take my little sun shower, put it on top of the trailer, this is not the camping trailer, this is the little cargo trailer that we used to take to festivals with us, so I could take a shower before I got in the car to drive the 5-hour drive home. That was the moment at which I said, we're not tent camping anymore. So anyway.
So which was very helpful for me, because then we didn't have to buy all these, different mattresses for camping and whatnot. But anyway, fast forward, it just got progressively worse, and my body would literally just freeze. I'd be walking, everything would be fine, and then all of a sudden I would swell up, and my knees would stop working.
Lock.
They would totally lock me up, and I would just sit on the side on a rock or a bench, and everyone else would go, which was what needed to happen.
We like to hike, and so it was kind of a challenge for us. For instance, one time at a lake in Northern California, we were camping, and there was a 5-mile loop hike that we both really wanted to go on. It was springtime, and the flowers were out, and it was really beautiful.
And the animals.
The animals were everywhere.
Birds.
It was super cool, but our main concern was, well, what if we get 2.5 miles out and everything locks up, and how are we going to get Jen home? So it was a definite factor in our daily life decisions, especially when it came to adventures. So, but, fast forward to, how long had we lived here in Montana?
probably a year.
About
Maybe
a year and a half.
Yeah.
After we got to Montana.
Because it was March.
Yeah. Some friends of ours invited us to a worship night that was at a friend's house that has this beautiful property, log cabin, and this particular place was known for things happening during the worship service, particularly healings that took place for more than just Jen's healing, and multiple people have reported all various levels of healing, mental, physical, and whatnot. So our friends invited us. And spiritual. Our friends invited us one day. They said, "Hey, you should come with us. It's an invite only, and you could be our guests." And so we said, "Okay." And at the time, just to be honest, I kind of really wasn't familiar with this type of event, and so I had actually asked my friend. He goes, "Hey, you guys want to come with us for a night of worship and prayer?" And I was like, I just was curious, and I asked him, "Hey, can you describe exactly what is worship and prayer night?" And he's all, "Oh yeah, sure." He's like, "We'll go to a friend's house. There's some people that sing worship music, and they're really great. They sing and play really well. The music is beautiful, and then we also have prayer time, and we pray for each other and other people, and sometimes we also have a microphone, and people can get up and talk and stuff." And so I thought, "Oh, that sounds cool." So we decided to go, and our friend drove like a maniac. It was frozen.
On icy frozen road. I'm like, we're never going to get there. We're going to die. Going to be in heaven tonight.
He had this big old F-250 truck, and he lived in Montana a lot longer than we had, but man, he drove like, I was holding on to the handles. Because the roads were icy. But anyway, we made it there.
And it was high snow.
Oh yeah, and it's not too far from where we live, and it's amazing how in Montana, within a 15-mile distance, you can go from literally no snow on the ground to like 3 feet of snow on the ground. And that's not even up into the mountains. That's just in the valley. But anyway, so we get to this beautiful log cabin. We don't know anybody.
That's
and
true.
We walk through the door, and the host, first thing out of her mouth, she comes kind of not waddling, but trotting over to us. And she goes, "Oh," she's from Texas.
She opens the door.
She's from Texas, and she's got this thick Texas accent. She's, "Oh, y'all must be the hookers." And I was like, "Well, where's the fire trucks and the cocaine? We're the hookers." Anyway, I said, "No."
That was a worship night, honey.
We're the Johnsons. And the hookers are actually another couple, and their last name is Hooker.
And they're the one most wonderful people.
They're great people. And so we were not the hookers. She was expecting them, and she thought we were them. But it was pretty funny, the introduction and how it happened.
It's a great icebreaker.
Yeah, it was a great icebreaker. Actually, we did kind of hit it off with them, and they ended up becoming our friends and whatnot. So the worship night went on.
Our very good friends.
Yeah, they're our very good friends. And the night went on.
Oh, and the night went on, and we worshipped. It was really beautiful, and I always sit in the back, especially if I don't know anybody, to evaluate the situation. And then there was a gentleman who got up, and he was doing God was giving him prophetic words for people, and one of the things the first thing he led off with was, "There's someone here that has had several miscarriages, and you are going to carry to term. You're coming up on 3 months, and you're going to carry to term." And I just was so grateful because I had several miscarriages. I was not pregnant, but I was so grateful for her that she had was going to carry to term, because I understood how that felt. And then he said, someone is suffering from, swollen veins and arthritis. He went on joint pain. He listed off a litany.
Yeah, he literally listed off 7, 8, or 9 things, and it was interesting because was I standing next to you at that time, or were we in different parts of the room?
You were in the back.
I thought so. Yeah, I was in the
You
back.
were evaluating the situation.
It was my first time ever at a quote unquote worship night. So anyway, I was thinking in my mind, oh, that sounds like Jen. Like everything he checked off on his little list of things was exactly all the things that are wrong with Jen, with her rheumatoid arthritis and the joint pain, the neck pain,
bone spurs,
the bone spurs, the
migraines,
the veins. Her ankles are all like swollen and kind of bruised and sort of purple, and it's not good, But I was thinking in my head, he just listed off everything that's wrong with my wife. And you were thinking, what were you thinking? Tell that story.
Well, I was just so grateful that those people were going to be healed. And I was just praising the Lord that they were going to be healed. And because he wasn't speaking to me, he was just speaking out.
Yeah, they have a microphone so that at any point during the worship service, during the music part, someone can literally just walk up and pick up the microphone and talk and just say whatever's on their heart.
And he was holding it.
Yeah, and so the band kind of gets quiet. They kind of keep playing in the background, but then so he's talking, and all this stuff rattles off, and of course Jen over here has no clue. She thinks he's talking about.
Well, I obviously wasn't pregnant because it led off with the pregnant. I didn't have heart issues,
right?
And that but everything that I had, he did list amongst all these other things. And I just kept praising God that God was going to heal, that he was healing them. I was so excited for them. And it was really awesome.
Except it wasn't them.
Well, it was, but it was also me.
Whoever else, yeah, maybe so. But
yeah, because I didn't have heart issues and I wasn't pregnant. But there was... But at the end, this was really funny. At the end, everyone's getting up, and I start to get up. Normally I have to brace myself or actually get some help. I didn't have to get any help. I was so shocked, and so then I'd be sitting there like this, and I'm all doing my neck, and everything was moving. It was all moving. My knees were moving. But I didn't say anything to anybody. And everyone's talking, and they talked for a long time, and I'm checking everything out. And so then we decided they all decided to leave, I think. And so we got up, and we got outside, and Brett was helping me down the very icy stairs, and we get over there, we get in the truck, and they're chatting. It was really a wonderful night. They even have food, which is really wonderful. And so we were in there, and they were driving down the road, and they're chatting, and I'm just still checking, and I'm just like, hey guys, I have something to say. And Brett and Brian were all, just loud. And finally I just had to say, hey, I have something to say. And I told them about the story and they're like, what? And I said, I got healed. And they're like, what? And I go, no, I got healed tonight. And so I think it was one of their first healings there.
It wasn't the first.
It was one of the first.
But it was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it had, like I said in the beginning of the video, there was stories of people previously, before we went.
Yeah.
That this home and this property is a special place, and there's something about the location on the planet, this one particular property area, home. It just who stewards it and who's there and who cares for it, and so that was But you were one of the first, it was the very beginning. It was in the early beginning days.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And from my perspective, Jen grew up in the church her whole life and was reading the Bible as a kid, and me not so much. And it wasn't actually, I got baptized in 2017, and I'm always kind of a legalistic kind of a guy. At one point I was pursuing potentially becoming a lawyer until I decided that I didn't want to pay for the school and all that stuff. So that's kind of how my mind works, facts and evidence and stuff. And when I hear these days are different. Previously, you know, earlier on in my journey with Jesus, I was totally skeptical of this kind of stuff, and afterwards, like Jen, I was happy for Jen in the car. We talked about it. Everybody rejoiced, and it was great. And I'm here to tell you right now, like, as a skeptic, which I'm no longer, but I was thinking in my mind, oh well, we'll see how it goes after we get home, like.
Oh, is that what you were thinking?
Well, of course, that's just how my mind works. Like, that's how my mind works.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I need evidence.
You never told me that before.
I need evidence. You know how I am.
I do. I know, but you just had never told me that
We've
before.
been together long enough.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, we'll wait. We'll see how it happens when we get home a week from now, 2 weeks from now. And I'm here to tell you, like, I've seen her feet and her ankles and the bruising and the purple, and we've gone on the hikes where, we had to stop halfway out and didn't know how we were going to get back, and
had to get in the water a couple times.
I've been there. I saw it all with my own eyes, and I'm here to tell you,
would go down.
This was a 100% bona fide healing. How long has it been now? 3 years?
Mm-hmm. Working on 4.
Yeah, and like, it is. She is healed. I mean, it's like, you can still see some evidence around her ankle, and her feet sometimes get swollen. But all of the issues.
Well, that's when I work a long time.
Well, yeah, if you're on your feet for 6, 7 hours.
But it's not like it was.
But
I don't have elephantitis.
We don't have to worry about anything anymore. We don't have to. We can go on hikes. We can go on a 5-mile hike. We can climb up a mountain. Like, we don't even think about it anymore.
They
like,
don't
oh my
walk
gosh,
up.
what if this happens, or how are we going to get back? And I've witnessed it with my own eyes, and I'm just, I'm kind of going overkill on this, but as a skeptic, I'm telling you, she was healed. It's an absolute truth.
And I'm not taking no painkillers.
Yeah, no more painkillers, no more ibuprofen.
No more. What was that guy giving me?
Norcos.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, the
remember
medical
when he told
center.
me about my neck? He's all. Remember we was like.
Yeah. There was this walk-in medical clinic back where we used to live, and
we were getting married.
This guy was.
And I had an attack.
He was great because he would just hand out pain pills like there was no tomorrow, and if you wanted pain pills, you just make an appointment there, and he would send you home with a big old bottle of them. I think since they may have gotten in a little bit of trouble, and
they all got arrested.
The place actually got closed
stopped.
down.
But there was a moment when, because we went to, well, we didn't know that he was like, I think he got arrested.
Yeah, I went there once right when we got married because I had an ear infection, a mild ear infection. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, let me give you a prescription," and he wrote me a prescription for a giant bottle of Norco. But needless to say, nobody's taking pain pills anymore. Hasn't for years. No more ibuprofen.
Well, yeah.
No more Tylenol. It's all over, and now our little Chihuahua is chirping at the door. So.
But I mean, it was like I was on pain pills for several years, towards the end.
Yeah.
And but then I just stopped taking them because I wasn't addicted to them. I could just stop, but it was I just couldn't function without a painkiller.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
So, anyway, here we are.
And then it just stopped.
3 years later.
The hand of God reached out.
Jen's all healed.
Yeah, I don't even take any pain pills now.
Well, thank God, because we live in northwest Montana, this beautiful place where it's all about the outdoors. So. I
know, but I even went skiing. I went snowshoeing.
Cross-country skiing.
Mm-hmm. I did a little downhill before.
Not in my time.
No, before I used to a little bit. But anyway, all that to say that no drugs, no nothing, just Jesus. So I just wanted to encourage all of you that with Jesus, all things are possible. Healing is possible. And I'm a testimony to that. He was just so kind to me, and he will be kind to you, and he will heal you.
Absolutely.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
And that's what he did with you with your cancer.
Well, that's a whole other video.
Well, yeah, we did it yesterday.
Well, we didn't really go into we didn't. Yeah.
Some of it.
We'll tell that story in another video.
Yeah. But
So,
we just want to encourage you that no matter what you guys are going through, that it is not impossible with God. Nothing is impossible with God. And I believe that with all my heart. I've seen it in other people's lives. I've seen people brought back to life. My body was brought back to life. I've seen people's marriages healed, my husband's body healed. And God, if we turn to God,
and now
we call on God.
Now we've got Doug.
Oh, Dougie Buggy, he
He's
can
freaking
heal
out
us.
because the little chihuahua's at the door.
Anyway.
So if you like this kind of content, we're Journey to Freedom. We are talking about making our way to financial and spiritual freedom and adventuring along the way. And these are our life stories. So once again, I'm Brett.
And I'm Jen.
Hope you guys have a great day.
We just want to encourage you. Good evening.
Bye.